Malcolm X was never interested in fitting in. He stood outside the mainstream, challenging the very legitimacy of American power structures. He spoke directly to Black Americans who felt alienated, validating their anger and exposing systemic oppression. Unlike other leaders, he refused to soften his message or seek approval from white institutions. Malcolm X's power came from his authenticity and his connection to the grassroots, not from establishment accolades. Even after his pilgrimage to Mecca, his critique of American and Western imperialism only grew sharper and more global. He never sought comfort or compromise, remaining a radical dissident to the end. Malcolm X's legacy is that of a relentless outsider. His analysis endures because he never let himself be absorbed by the system. When the U.S. Postal Service issued a Malcolm X stamp in 1999, it seemed like national recognition, but it also raised questions. Turning a revolutionary into a state-approved symbol risks sanitizing his radical message. A postage stamp, an everyday object, can domesticate a legacy that was meant to unsettle. Critics argue that such honors attempt to claim Malcolm X for the mainstream, smoothing over his sharpest critiques. For some, the stamp is progress. For others, it's historical revisionism. The debate itself shows Malcolm X's enduring power. He resists easy categorization, even in commemoration. Remembering him means confronting whether true honor lies in assimilation or in preserving his outsider status. Would Malcolm X have ever accepted mainstream comfort or accolades? Almost certainly not. He knew that proximity to power often meant compromising one's message and betraying the people he represented. His influence came from his refusal to be co-opted, maintaining independence and moral authority. Malcolm X's evolution from black separatism to global human rights was possible because he stayed outside the establishment. His words remained powerful because they were never diluted by compromise. For today's activists, he's a blueprint for critiquing power from the outside. His legacy is a lesson true transformation requires challenging the status quo, not negotiating for a better seat at the table. Malcolm X's discomforting presence forced society to confront its contradictions. His value endures as the necessary, incorruptible critic. The tension between Malcolm X's legacy and the U.S. government persists, as seen in the 1995 case of his daughter, Shabazz. She was accused of plotting to kill Louis Farrakhan, but many argued she was entrapped by an FBI informant. The case reignited debates about government surveillance and the targeting of black leaders. Critics saw it as part of a long pattern of disruption, echoing COINTELPRO's history. The case ended without a trial, leaving questions about justice and government motives unresolved. For many, it reinforced deep mistrust of federal authorities and highlighted the ongoing vulnerability of black activists. Malcolm X's outsider politics remain a source of contention and suspicion with the state. Preserving Malcolm X's outsider status is essential to understanding his radical vision. His legacy isn't about reconciliation, it's about challenging injustice at its roots. Today, as movements confront systemic racism and inequality, his analysis feels more relevant than ever. Malcolm X's insistence on self-determination and his critique of institutional racism continue to inspire. The mistrust between black communities and the state, exemplified by cases like Shabazz's, shows why his message endures. Honoring Malcolm X means embracing the discomfort he created, not sanitizing his legacy. We don't need another safe hero. We need the uncompromising voice of a true outsider. In that space of dissent, Malcolm X's importance remains, pushing us to ask the hard questions necessary for real progress.